Hello, this is Professor Natalia Schroeder with another ESL lesson. This is for class Esl 56X. We are looking at the chapter on process. So I wanted to give you a quick explanation of this chapter. As you can see, they're showing a dancer in the photo, and they're talking about some different topics. For example, number 1, how to plan a party. Number 2, how to find a part-time job. Number 3, how to organize a garage sale. And number 4, how to set the table for a formal dinner. Each one of these topics starts with the expression how to, how with the infinitive verb. The infinitive verb in English, to plan, to find, to organize, to set. Okay, so how is the question word with the infinitive verb. And we call this how to. And that's what makes a process, how to do something. Okay. They talk about what is a process, defining it. A process is a series of steps done in chronological order. In process writing, you explain how to do something, or how an incident took place, or how something works. The best way is to write about how to do something. So that's what we're going to focus on. You explain processes every day. At home, you may show a family member how to use electronic devices, or write instructions to a babysitter or a caregiver. At college, you may describe the steps to solve a math problem or discuss how a new product was invented. At work, you may explain how to operate a machine or how to perform a particular job. So, how to. Usually it's how to do something. Okay? So that was on page 79. Going to the next page, on page 80. Page 80, the process at work. I'm going to read to you this paragraph, and then I'm going to show you some things about it that I think need to be fixed. Michelle Mabry instructs college students in the art of welding. Read this excerpt from an instruction manual. Welding, like sewing, consists of piecing together metal with neat seams that withstand wear and tear. It is stitching with fire. To weld safely, consider the following points. First, you need a welding jacket, some leather gloves, and an auto-darkening welding helmet to wear over your safety glasses. For a weld to work, the metal needs to be clean and abraded along the line you will be welding. You can use a wire brush for that. Clamp the pieces of metal together. Your first welds will be tack welds, sort of like pinning cloth together so the pieces don't move while you sew them together. A couple of tack welds should do. A quick zap at the corners and maybe one in the middle. Check the position of the pieces after the first tack weld. When you are comfortable, position your gun at the first tack and pull the trigger. There will be a steady crackle as you move the nozzle across the seam. Don't hurry. Keep moving until the end of the pieces. Release the trigger. Use pliers to pick it up and inspect the underside. You will be pleased with the results. She's sort of comparing the art of welding to sewing, making like an extended metaphor, the way she says, like pinning cloth together. So it's a nice visual, but as you know from what I've been teaching you, she uses a transition word here very nicely. First, okay? What happened to second? What happened to third? They're missing. It becomes just a long run-on explanation. Don't do that. If I had to fix this paragraph, somewhere in here I would add second or next, to show us a transition to the second part, and then there should be a transition to the third. Remember the magic of 3. Remember that we want to have things divided into 3 so that the reader can follow your paragraph. So we've got the first transition word, but I don't see second or third, and that causes a problem for the reader. Okay, I'm just pointing that out to you. Otherwise, it's a nice paragraph, but it could be better if we had the other transition words. Okay, we want to focus for our first exercise. When I assign to you to write, you're going to complete a process. You're going to teach somebody how to do something, okay? In this one, practice number 1, and you were asked to read these and to do the exercises. So this chapter was already assigned, but I'm going over it with you just to help you understand it. So they talk about here a framed painting, okay? They use the transition word again. First, okay, they've got first right there. Then they use next, okay? That helps me out. Then, are there any other transition words? Then we get to finally, okay? So there's a little bit of a path for the reader to follow. First, next, and finally. They're kind of like stepping stones. They guide us from your first idea to your second idea to your third idea before you write a concluding statement. Okay, that structure is really, really, really important, especially in a process. Okay, over here in practice 2, again, trying to figure out how do I follow the order of it. One thing that you should keep in mind when we're talking about process is that we're probably going to use time order, okay? First, second, third. Time order is really important. So in this particular example, they didn't really give us words like first, second, and third, but they gave us dates. In its earliest form, well, when did the internet start? Okay, this writer is going back to the 1960s. Then they have a time marker. In 1969, the Department of Defense sponsored a project to overcome threats from a blackout of communication in the event of a nuclear war. Okay, so the year before I was born, I guess the internet started in development. In the early 1970s, during my childhood, the project was opened up to non-military institutions. I'm pretty sure my dad was working on this stuff. He was a aerospace engineer, worked with telecommunications satellites, helped develop GPS, which is kind of a form of internet, right? 1972 is another time marker. In the mid-1980s, another time marker. By the end of the 1980s, by 1993. So this writer has given us a timeline. It couldn't be more clear that it's time order, okay? Time order with a timeline. 1960s, 1969, early 1970s, 1972, 1980s, the mid-1980s. Then they've got 1980s end. And then finally the last date is 1993. So this writer has given you numerous checkpoints according to time order. Okay, that's explaining how a process was developed. It's not telling you how to do it. It's giving you a history of a process. You'll probably need to write about that in a variety of different classes. But for our purposes, you're going to tell me how to do something. Okay, they've got some different ideas here. They're talking again about the topic sentence. Don't forget the topic and the controlling idea. Okay, the topic and the controlling idea. Supporting ideas. Here's some pictures of a dog. Okay, this is dog grooming. This is the first step. This is the second step. This is the third step. The magic of 3. Okay, they gave you 3 steps. This is the first step of the process. This is the first step. This is the second step. This is the third step. Okay, what's the first step? Hold dog securely. Do not wash or wet fur. Trim fur using electric shears. So the first step in taking care of a dog and grooming a dog is to trim it. Then, second step, wet dog's fur, gently lather with mild dog soap, rinse thoroughly. The second step is to wash the dog. Then the third step, dry on very low heat like a blow dryer, brush out gently, fluff the fur. Then we want to style the dog's fur. So this is all about how to groom. How to groom. How to groom a dog. How to groom. How to groom. First step, trim. Second step, wash. Third step, style. The magic of 3. The magic of 3. Keep it simple, guys. Don't make it harder than it needs to be. Okay, and then they have in your first draft, these are some transition words. To begin a process, to continue a process, to end a process. Okay, at first, initially, the first step, the second step, the third step. Okay, keep it easy for yourselves. Don't make this harder than it needs to be. That kind of concludes this chapter. Then there's some more practices. So what are you guys going to do? I'm going to give you an assignment, okay? Your assignment for process. I want you to tell me how to plan a party. I want you to write about this one. This is a practice process paragraph. I want you to tell me how to plan a party, and I want you to divide it into 3 steps. Okay? The first step is going to be the invitations. That's where you decide how many people, where is it going to be, you're the first step. Where is it going to be, when is it going to be, and who's going to get invited? So we're asking who, where, and when. That's the first step. Then the second step is gathering the supplies. What do you need for this awesome party? Food and drink, decorations. Maybe you need tables and chairs. Maybe you need to hire a photo booth, a DJ. Are you going to hire a band like Leather Jacket Odyssey to play your party? And then the third step is the setup and the party, actually having the party go, to set up for the party. And then what's happening during the party? Who's restocking the drinks? Is the DJ there? Is the music going? Are people having a good time? I want you to tell me how to plan a party, okay? This is sort of a suggestion. If you follow this, you're going to be in good shape. I want you to have some basic parameters for this assignment, okay? I don't want there should be 10 sentences minimum, 20 sentences maximum. Okay, I don't want you guys writing on and on and on and on. I want this to be focused. This needs to be focused. Okay, this is a paragraph. It's not an essay. So 10 sentences minimum. You need at least 1 topic sentence with a topic and the controlling idea. Then you need 8 sentences of development. And then you need a sentence that concludes it. That's the minimum. Don't go over 20 sentences. It's not better to write more if it doesn't fit, if it just goes on and on. Okay, try to keep it focused. As always, you should do a spell check before you send it to me. Please do a spell check and do a grammar check. The computer can catch a bunch of simple mistakes. I know some of you aren't as skilled with typing, but hopefully you're practicing and getting better at it. So this is your assignment for process. Tell me how to plan a party. Okay, these are your 3 steps. You need to have transition words. Make sure there are transition words, as always. Spell check and grammar check. 10 sentences minimum, 20 sentences maximum. Okay, submit it to me through email. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm still getting over being sick. Okay, thanks a lot. Take care. Bye.